Def. We are live. We are back here at the Waterland Arcade here in Des Moines, Washington. Come on down. I'm here with Mr. Scott, Mr. Baseball. I'm Lavelle, Big Man Bogan. And we're a little bit grieved today. Well, I'm a little bit happy. Let me take it back. Prim's not with us today. He's out with his wife. He left the boys behind, but that's okay. We here. We can actually probably get into some facts today with him not here. Oh, that's some shade I'm putting out there on social media. Oh, he's listening right now. Ooh, I'm scared. But let's go ahead and get into some sports on today. But I do want to put into the atmosphere. I remember he was kind of right about what the Seahawks run defense in the beginning. But I do remember me saying, I kind of believed him for a second. But I said, hey, if they have a new system, a new defensive coordinator, it's going to take some time to gel. I remember saying that on one of our first episodes. And I said, hey, let them get the X's and O's down, shuffle some things around, and guess what? They're doing quite lovely right now. But we're knocking on wood, though. We do have
Osu. Keep knocking, too.
But I'm just saying, hey, it takes a little bit of time. I know he thought it was a concern. We're just having fun with him. But just some topics we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about why the Seattle Seahawks and Cardinal game is a must-win. How we beat the brakes off of them just a couple weeks ago, but this game is a must-win. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the college football fights. Man, 8 fights happened this past Saturday.
Hey, there was 2 of them in the NFL, too.
Oh, man. Oh, so it's carrying over. Okay.
Yeah, the whole weekend was fights.
So we're going to see if that is a good thing or a bad thing.
There were better fights than that Tyson-Jake Paul.
It was better than the Tyson and Jake Paul fight. Hey, just thank God we didn't have to order that pay-per-view. Then I'd be mad, too. Be out $59.99 for that. Oh, personnel was a problem. Okay. He want to put his 2 cents in from wherever he's at. Okay. But also we're going to talk about the Detroit Lions going for it on 4th down, beating the Green Bay Packers. There's a lot to that, and I want to talk about them a little bit with that. We're going to talk about some rumors circling the Mariners, trades and things, and I want to defer to Mr. Scott to give us some insight to what he think it should happen or what should happen and his expectations on that moving forward as well. So we're going to have a great show on today. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Please share it with everybody. Like I said, come on down here. So we're going to go ahead and get it started here. So the Seattle Seahawks win over the New York Jets. That was a fun time to watch. Big Cat, 90-yard reception running. He should be playing tight end.
The way he was running, yeah.
Exactly. I was loving to see the defense come alive, and I was always wondering about him because when we first got him, I know he was an all-pro piece, but he seemed to be limited his first year when he was here, and I was like, is he? But I know that they're moving around a little bit more. I know that he's healthy. I'm not sure how transparent they are about their health, but he's playing out of his mind. He's playing like, J.J. Watt. He's looking like J.J. Watt out there.
Yeah, he's definitely playing above what I was expecting out of him.
Yeah, he's dominant.
And And the great thing about him is
Yes.
the clip that I saw immediately following that touchdown. You see him walk up to Witherspoon and say, as soon as I saw you, I knew I had the touchdown. He knew. And when you
Absolutely.
watch that whole game,
Absolutely.
all the defensive clips, you see Witherspoon in the background for everything.
Absolutely.
He is there. Like,
Absolutely.
he is playing more of a blocker for everybody.
Absolutely.
Doing what he needs to do.
Absolutely.
He's making sure the team is there defensively. And that's what
Absolutely.
I enjoy.
Absolutely. I mean, he was everywhere, and just to backpedal a little bit, we didn't get a chance to break down the Seahawks and Cardinals because we was off that week for the holidays, but they play lights out against the Cardinals. I was kind of nervous about the Cardinals, that offense, that run game, the screen game. Kyler Murray is Russell Wilson on steroids back in Russell Wilson's prime, and seeing them.
Russell Wilson never had a prime.
We'll agree to disagree on that, but to see them beat them and then come into playing the Jets, and I was concerned for a little bit, down 21-7. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Because I marked it up as guaranteed win on my board, But then the defense came alive, made some turnovers and playing.
It wasn't even the defense that was an issue in that game, or the offense. It was our special teams.
Yeah,
what the hell happened?
yeah.
Did they just say, "Oh, we're going to be complacent like the Niners were against us"?
Yeah.
And just, "Oh yeah, we got this in the bag," and the special teams just said, "Oh yeah, you guys can handle this."
Yeah. That's something. That's something.
Botched catches.
Yeah.
Botched hits.
Yeah.
Special teams was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there was 3 blocked field goals in that game?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, one blocked field goal on each side and 1 blocked kick.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. I don't know.
That's more blocks than I've seen in a week of football, let alone one game.
Absolutely. But we do have Osu coming back. And that's awesome. Because now you got Hill coming to his own out of Auburn. I think it's his second year. Rookie year wasn't so great. And you got the other guy, 53. He's doing his thing. Leo's doing his thing. Linebackers are playing great. Secondary's playing great. Now we're getting loaded again. Man, it's going to be awesome. But this is a must-win. So how is it you're on, a 3-game winning streak? First place in the NFC West, right? And you beat the brakes off of the Cardinals, and now you're in a must-win. And I'm going to show you why it's a must-win. Because I believe the Seattle is 7-5, and the Cardinals are 6-6.
Yep.
So if the Cardinals beat us, then I think we're tied or whatever. But it's about the remaining schedule.
Yeah.
This is why we have to win. Because Seattle, no, we'll go over the Cardinals. The Cardinals play the Patriots, which might be a cakewalk for them.
It will be.
They play the Panthers. They're improving, but I think that's a cakewalk.
I wouldn't say that one's going to be a cakewalk. I'd say that one's going to be a little bit of a fight. The Cardinals are definitely going to win that game.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be that, we're guaranteed to win. I think it's probably like an 85% chance that they're going to win that game.
Okay. And then they got the Rams, division game. Then they got
lose.
the 49ers, okay? But now here's Seattle, remaining schedule. And this makes me nervous because they play the Packers, who, a penalty here or there. They could have beat the Detroit handily the other day. The Vikings, they've been on a roll. Yeah. They're a beast in the NFC. Then you got the Bears.
The Bears are hit and miss.
Yeah,
the Vikings have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that could be like a trap game. And then the last game, you got the Rams. So, which is division. Division is division. That's always a tough opponent. But
always.
So when you look at if the Cardinals win, I think they are in the driver's seat to win the NFC West. If Seattle wins, they're obviously in the driver's seat, even if they drop 2 in the last 4.
I can agree with that.
Oh, it's interesting, man.
I can agree with that, except the only thing is they have to win those 2 divisional games, regardless of whether or not they beat us. They have to win their last 2 games against the division.
Yeah.
We don't.
That's true. That's true.
So right now we are in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Whether or not we beat the Cardinals,
Yeah.
it matters, but I don't think it matters as much to us as it does to them.
Right. Right.
Because if they beat us, that ties us.
Yeah.
If they go and they lose to both of their division and then we lose that Rams game, we're still ahead of them in the division.
Right. Right.
So this game, it matters, but it doesn't matter nearly as much for us as it does for them.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
At least that's the way I see it.
Okay. So, well, like I said, we're gonna see. Like, we're gonna find out the next 3 weeks. Cardinals, Packers, and Vikings. We're gonna find out if Seattle is championship caliber for sure. For sure. You know what I'm saying? For sure. For sure. So the defense is playing lights out. Like I said.
Spoiler alert: they're not.
But now, it's time for the offense to start clicking on all cylinders. I mean, it's time. And if they do, big hypothetical, if they do, man, this is a dangerous team. This is a dangerous team.
I
at least,
agree with
at least
you there.
start off fast. At least start off scoring some points in the first quarter.
I agree with you there.
Right.
If the offense starts clicking on all cylinders,
Yeah.
they are going to be a heavy favorite team.
Yeah.
I see them starting to click here and there.
Yeah, here and there.
They're coming together.
Yeah.
My biggest concern right now is DK.
Okay.
He's dropping a lot of passes that he would normally catch over the last few years.
Okay.
He's not getting open like he used to do the last few years.
Okay.
He's missing those lobs that are thrown up for his height that he normally just reaches up and grabs, or he jumps up and grabs. His routes are changing. He's doing something that is throwing this off. How do we fix that?
I wonder if they're doing something coverage-wise or why he's not getting open as much. It seems like Jackson Smith and Jigma is now like he's like a magnet for Geno. So
yeah, because Geno's noticed that DK's not the magnet anymore.
Oh,
if you watch last week's game. Watch last week's game. Every time DK was covered by Gardner.
Okay.
And Geno threw it DK's way.
Right.
DK didn't get the ball. He either dropped the ball, or it bounced off his hands, or the play was interrupted.
Yeah.
But anytime he was covered by anybody else, it was like, he was wide open.
Yeah. Well, DK's never had the best of hands. Just period.
No, I mean, you're right. He's never had the best of hands.
He does a lot of body catches too.
A lot of body catches.
Yeah, yeah.
He had 3 of them go off his chest last game against the Jets.
That's what body catches does.
Right. But that's been his forte. Either the one right off his chest or the one way outstretched with one hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he's known for. Don't throw it to where he's catching it with 2 hands because he ain't going to catch it. It'll go right through.
Well, like I said, nobody's accused DK of being Chris Carter. But that is concerning. But
he catches the ball like John Elway used to throw the ball.
But I would like to see more of the run game implemented. We've got K9 back there who's an absolute monster. And I think we need to use him more, especially if we're going to be traveling on the road in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to have a run game on the road.
Yes.
And
if you notice in this last game, they did utilize him more.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with it is we don't have a solid second.
Oh, so you're already giving up on Zach Charbonnet? We're giving up on Zach Charbonnet?
I never.
You never had his pom-poms?
No.
You don't have his jersey in the trunk of your car?
No. I have one Seahawks jersey. Actually, I have 8 Seahawks jerseys.
Okay.
And they're all the same number.
Okay.
Number 25.
Okay.
The best corner ever.
Okay. Well, just talking long term, it's always easy to find another running back. If he's not the guy.
Yeah, I don't think Charbonnet is.
Or maybe we just haven't softened up the defense enough to use him. Because he's supposed to be that guy that you're bringing in the fourth quarter to just off tackle, boom, 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 physicality. He's supposed to be that beast mode without the good feet. You know what I'm saying? With stones around his ankle. So he's supposed to be that guy. So are we not using him the right way?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what it is we're utilizing him more as a blocker than a running back.
I love him at fullback.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him at fullback. I love him
just
sneaking the ball every now and then. Oh, he's an excellent fullback.
He's a great blocker.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He's great. It's kind of like when we had who was the tight end that we misused all the time?
Which one?
Just recently, just a couple years ago.
Talking about Disley?
No.
Miss you.
We got him from somewhere else.
The Saints. The wide receiver Highbird.
Yeah.
God, what is his name?
You know who I'm talking about. We totally misused him.
Man, who knows the Saints' old tight end? Who is he? Who was he?
I'm surprised Prim hasn't already.
My brain is just like.
But we thoroughly misused him so bad. We utilized him as a straight blocker, and that's not what he was.
Right.
And that's kind of what we right now I think we're doing with Charbonnet is we're strictly using him for blocking, and then when K9's tired, here, now you can have the ball.
Oh, Graham, Jimmy Graham.
There you go. That's
bing,
the
bing,
one.
bing,
Jimmy
bing,
Graham.
Bing, bing.
Thoroughly misused him.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to have a particular type of quarterback to get him the ball. All right. So the Seattle Seahawks, we both agree that this is a must-win game. Really looking forward to it to see if they can do this again. I just don't think that the Cardinals are going to lay an egg this time. You're going to get the best version of the Cardinals. Their pride. We whooped their tail a couple weeks ago. We're going to be in Arizona. We're going to get the best of them. We are.
Are we?
Yeah, it's a division game.
It was 2 weeks ago, too.
Yeah, but, it's easy to go on the road, lay an egg. I don't know.
I don't know that we're going to get the best of them.
We have to.
Don't they have a couple of guys that are injured on their offense?
Yeah, but this is the must-win.
You've got your key players injured.
Must-win. Who's injured?
I can't remember who it was. They were just talking about it the other day.
Okay.
Right now, they're day-to-day.
But they got Kyler Murray.
Yep. That boy ain't going out.
Exactly.
That's like Tua retiring. Ain't going to happen.
When you got a quarterback like that, you can naked boot him out, design runs. Hey, you can.
They tried that, though.
Man. But all the simulated pressure that Seattle had, he had nowhere to go. Right. They got up the middle. The worst thing you can do with a midget quarterback is get pressure up the middle because you're going to throw into to the lineman's butt. So, man.
Why not?
All right,
the new version of the quarterback sneak.
It might be time for commercial. All right, so let's move on here. So this past weekend, there was 8 fights in college football, and all these rivalry games. Let me see. We had Michigan, Ohio State, Arkansas, and Missouri, Auburn, Alabama, Texas versus Texas A&M, just to name a few. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one too. Oh yeah. That was, and it was, and this is my take. I believe that the NIL transfer portal will eventually ruin college football. That's just my take. Well, it's a start, but it's gonna really get bad 5 years from now. Oh yes, it was a disaster when it started, so I put that out there. But one of the things that really makes it horrible. Okay. Does NFL? Hey, we need a transfer portal for the NFL right now because we need a running back. Who's in the portal? Who's in the portal? Oh, jeez. But anyways, back to this topic here. This is my take on it. One of the things that the NIL and the transfer portal, I believe, is kind of limit the fire of competition. But I think when you're talking about being sold out to a program, being invested into it, but to see the intensity and the desire and that fire of competition boil over like that, I think it was a good thing, right? Now, when we think about football, why is it hockey isn't criticized? Baseball fights are way worse than any football fight. I mean, and other sports, but why is football, which is more physical, brutal than any of them? I believe, and it's a good thing. It's bad when it happens at the end of the game where students are on the field and stuff like that, and somebody can get hurt. But for the sake of this NIL and transfer portal, me as a fan, I'm speaking from a fan's perspective, not the politicals and all that stuff, but from a fan's perspective, I like to see that. How dare you plant the flag on this field as a fan? Okay. Oh, oh, uh-huh. Mm, mm. Okay. Right, right. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So what I don't want to see, what I don't want to happen is for the people that make these decisions, the people that sit up in the boxes or the administrators to take away some of the tradition of the colleges, of planting the flag, bringing out the mascot and all those things because something got out of hand. You can penalize the coaches, the players, you can suspend them, you can do things to make sure that doesn't happen again without and that's what I hate and that's what I think that's going to happen where they're going to just start taking away stuff instead of penalizing. I mean, who's ultimately in charge of those kids? The coach, the coaches. You see, hey, you start finding the coaches for melees like that. Oh, there'll never be another after fight after ever again. You're responsible for them. Oh gosh, here we go. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you. You're right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're gonna do something. It's a given. Uh, it's just too much bad PR. for college football. A couple of comments here. My man Dana says, going back to our discussion about DK, he said DK is not 100%. I guess that's something to consider. He said that's an issue. What else is there? Yep, Jimmy Graham, I got you. Thanks for that. He said the NIL will be different next year. So that's something I got to look into. I'm not sure how or what's going to change or how it's going to change. Right. Right. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Got you. Right. Awesome. All right. So back to a program that you care nothing about. That's why I got my shirt and my sweater. I'm kind of torn. Seahawks and Huskies. But Fish in the Washington Huskies lost to the Oregon Ducks 49-21. Yeah, it was close in the first quarter, but it kind of ran away with it. So with Fish and the Washington Huskies in the program, which is a huge overhaul, I didn't know much about Fish before, I guess, his success at Arizona. I know the running back is staying. There's been a lot of talk about that. But I'm trying to judge his work at the program now. With all the players leaving from Washington, the coach, going to Alabama, and knowing that this is a pit stop for him because I think he has Florida ties, and it was an article drawn up that he's going to take a job somewhere down there, but he's going to turn this program around. This is a pit stop, but cleanup. He's trying to clean up the program. Oh, I guess so. I don't know why. Don James. Yeah, he quit because I'm not dealing with this, y'all taking all these scholarships away. He knew what it was going to do to the program. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but just watching, he's a heck of a recruiter. He's a heck of a offensive mind. It looks like the offense, I watched a little bit of the plays and the personnel and moving parts. I guess he's great for this modern day shuffle of players that you're constantly shuffling your deck. Because not only do you have to recruit outside players, but this is the problem with the NIL. We're kind of going back to this, kind of beating the dead horse here, is you have to recruit your own players again. You got to recruit the guys that are already in dorm on scholarship to make sure they stay. If that ain't some garbage. Well, this is like picture the NFL with free agency and every player is on a 1-year contract. Your contract is up at the end of the year. That's what it's like. I can renegotiate after every year. I can find a better deal somewhere. Wow. I think that Kansas City's close to that. Yeah, third one. Okay. So, yeah. No, I doubt it. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I want to talk about, me, I'm a football junkie. But we're going to get into some baseball here real soon. Yeah, we are. We're talking about Detroit and going for it on fourth down. not having the confidence that they can stop Green Bay's offense. And if Goff doesn't, if that ball hits his elbow, or he was a split second away from, because he was tripping, giving the ball to being a blown win. You know, and to go for it, because he's been criticized before by going for it on weird times and weird spaces on the field, but they seem to be bought in to his style of coaching, and he has turned Detroit into a winner. Like people think of Detroit as a great organization, you know, which before it wasn't. Like Detroit was like, oh, they're a joke. To me, they've always been a joke, even since the days of Barry Sanders. Even though they had talent, I'm like, oh, they're gonna screw it up. You right? Right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They do. They do. They do. They do. They do. Yeah. 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 But the problem now, this is the thing. Too many injuries for them. And they can still make it, but I just don't think they have the depth to be able to win it through. But we're about to go to commercial. We're about to go to commercial because we're going to talk some baseball, and I'm going to try to do my best to keep up with them. See you in 5.
All right. We're back. Northwest Sports Talk 206. I'm Scott. I'm the baseball guy. If anybody has ever questioned that, I don't know why. So we're going to talk a little bit about the trade meetings going on in the winters right now. They're getting ready to start here come Monday. They're going to last for a week. And the big talk right now is Roki Sasaki. Where's he going to sign? Juan Soto. Where's he going to sign, and how much is that going to cost? And then the trade rumors that the Mariners got. So right now, Roki Sasaki has been announced that he will be announced by end of day tomorrow to be alive in the ML, which gives him 45 days for any team to bid and sign him before he becomes a true free agent. Right now, from what I've seen, he's looking at West Coast teams mostly, but he is looking at a couple of East Coast teams as well. So pretty much the Central AL and NL are pretty much out. No big surprise there. I think he's going to end up either going to the Dodgers, the Mets, or us here in Seattle. And the thing that I want to see is I want to see him come to Seattle for the simple reason of we have the best standard of practice for bringing up pitchers. We have not had any pitchers in the last, we'll say, 10 years that have come up through our system and not become a recognized force as a pitcher. We brought Edwin Diaz into our team from the National League. He became a dominant closer. Ended up going back to the Mets. Still a dominant closer. We've had several pitchers in the last 10 years that have just come up. And right now we've got 4 in our starting 5 that are just dominant. We've got another 1 or 2 in the pipeline that are going to be dominant. We've got Castillo, who can be dominant if he stays healthy and figures out his velocity issue that he had this year. We've also got the trade rumors going on with the Cubs, the White Sox, the Cubs and the Reds, the Cubs and us and the White Sox. And the thing I see that's going to be the most beneficial for us is there's talk that Nico Horner and Cody Bellinger are on the table. If we can acquire one or both of those, that would solidify our infield. It would solidify our need for a bat. And we can give up a couple prospects or starting pitching that they want. Now, the downfall I've heard is all the trade rumors I've heard regarding the Mariners is everybody's coming after George Kirby and Logan Gilbert. And from what I've noticed, every single one of those trade talks has hit a brick wall because I don't think Seattle's going to get rid of either one of them. Now, one that I've seen recently is that the Cubs are trying to go after Garrett Crochet from the White Sox, which would be a good fit for them. But they're also looking at coming to Seattle and bringing Nico Horner and Bellinger to Seattle. Now, I can see a 3-way talk going on here. The 3-way I see that is the most beneficial is the White Sox give up Garrett Crochet. So the Cubs acquire him. And then Nico Horner or Bellinger or both come to Seattle, and we give up Castillo to either Chicago team, it doesn't matter, the White Sox or the Cubs, and a couple of our trade prospects. Probably going to be people like Harry Ford, who right now I don't see coming up anytime soon, and he deserves it. He is a good catcher. I just don't see him coming up to the big league level with us and making the impact that he wants to make. I can also see them giving up Cole Young or Colt Emerson even. Those two guys are going to be quality players when they come up to the MLB and stay here. Right now, we've seen Colt Emerson a couple of times. We haven't seen Cole Young up in the bigs, but Cole Young is progressing to the point where probably late this year, if not next year, we see him up in the bigs with us. But right now, we need somebody to come in and solidify that infield. Nico Horner, Cody Bellinger do that. So if we give up those two and Harry Ford and even Castillo to get those two guys, I'm thoroughly 100% down with that. But right now, the trade talks are heating up because winter meetings are coming down. They're going to start Monday. They go through Friday. By the end of this, Juan Soto will sign a deal. It's expected he's going to get $600 million.
Wow.
Now, whether that's $600 million over 10 years, 14 years, I don't know. Right now, I know that the top teams that he's looking at are the Yankees, the Dodgers, and I believe the Royals. If I'm mistaken, it could be the Royals. I'm not sure about the 13, but I know he's looking at the Dodgers and the Yankees. Okay. And the Dodgers, if they do it, I guarantee you they're going to follow what they've done with the last 3 picks, and they're going to defer 90% of that $600 million.
Okay.
The Yankees do it. I'll bet they defer probably 50% of it.
Okay.
The Royals, I don't think they're going to be able to defer any of it if they get him. But question is he worth $600 million?
Oh, that's a lot.
Just looking at stats. StatCast actually posted this a couple days ago.
Okay.
Or it was a fan of a Mariners fan, I don't know, that did it. But they compared Julio's stats to Juan Soto's stats just for 2024.
Okay.
Juan Soto led most of those categories. Julio led in batting average over Juan Soto. So you have a guy that gets a lot of hits, gets on base, hits home runs, but doesn't have a high batting average. I think his batting average for the season was like a 267.
Okay.
Julio's was only 273 or 274 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But Julio struggled a lot in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I remember seeing
Juan Soto never had a struggle more than a couple of games the whole season.
Right.
So if Julio didn't struggle those couple of months, does Juan Soto's stats still beat him? Or do Julio's stats now become better than Juan Soto and make Julio the better choice? I'm going to say personally that Juan Soto is a good player. I liked him when he was in San Diego. I thought he was great there. He went to New York. He put up great numbers.
Okay.
But I think the reason he put up such great numbers in New York is because how do you pitch around a guy to face Judge? You can't. So he had 100 more opportunities to get a good base hit or a good walk, get a good pitch count than he did when he was in San Diego. Okay. So I think that this past season is kind of flawed in his stats. I don't think he deserves $600 million. I do think he is a quality player, and I do think he deserves a long-term contract.
Okay.
I would think if he were smart, he would take a long-term contract with a guarantee of X amount of years in those contracts where he's got the trade option. Okay. And then, like Julio's contract, he's got 7 years of player option whether or not he decides to stay with the team or can sign in free agency. Okay. I think that's the type of contract Soto's looking for. Okay. I don't think he's looking for a $600 million 14-year contract right now with no guarantees on his side because he's going to be looking that if his team's not performing in 5-6 years, he's going to want to get out of that contract. Okay. And I think that's where he's going to be looking is something like that.
Okay. I have a question, and this is just coming to me. The bandwagon fans, I'm one of them.
Yes. You in for him.
and all the millions of other bandwagon fans who love the Mariners when they're winning. So I have 2 questions, actually. It's not like the NFL draft or the NBA draft. I'm talking about the baseball draft. So a lot of times players get drafted and they're in the minor system and we don't necessarily hear about them unless you are a real baseball fan, Mariners fan. You know who's coming up.
Right.
So with that being said, who is the one that or some prospects that can really help this team in the near future. Talking about a couple years from now, and then a couple years ago, I believe we lost to Houston in the playoffs. We made that big run.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How do we get? What did we lose after that? And how do we get back there? What was special about that team? And can we get back to that position? How far are we away from being that team?
Okay, so
I'm talking about that good, not necessarily the style of play, but
you're looking for the dynamic 2023 team.
Yes.
Okay.
Because losing that game, we've been on a downslide ever since, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So the 2023 team, where we finally broke that drought of 21 years of making the playoffs.
Yes.
We finally broke that drought.
Oh, yeah.
That team, we had a team playing as a team.
Okay.
We had a coaching staff that recognized we had a team and developed it to continue to play as a team the whole season.
Okay.
And as the season progressed, you could see the fire in all the youngsters' eyes. Cal, Julio,
yeah,
even Teoscar was a part of that fire.
Yeah.
You could see it.
Yeah.
Every game they were out there to win because they saw they were working as a team and they saw what was coming and they saw the opportunity that was available.
Okay.
Right now, we have that. The problem with it is this past year, something happened in the dugout. Whether it was a managerial issue, an ownership issue, a player issue, or whatever, and they tried to address it in what they thought was a systematical way.
Okay.
They got rid of a couple players. Jared Kelnick left.
Okay.
Everybody said, it was because of his attitude when he kicked that bucket and broke his foot.
Okay.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, before he came back, we were doing better
okay.
than when he came back.
Okay.
So to lose Jared Kelnick, I think that was kind of a sign of things to come for the next year.
Okay.
So last year, he was gone. His attitude left. Teoscar left.
Okay.
And when Teoscar left, he made it very public that the reason he was leaving is because he does not like the park to bat.
Okay.
He was not the first one to say that.
Okay.
A lot of players that have left that we felt were good in Seattle have stated the reason they left is because they can't stand hitting in Seattle. It has been known the whole time since Safeco was built and first opened in '99 that it is not a hitter's park. It is a pitcher's park.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pitching, the ERA in Safeco is the lowest of any other baseball park for any team. Doesn't matter what team's coming in. The lowest ERA is in
our park.
In our park. And it's because that's the way the architect designed the park. Okay? They designed it to take the marine air layer coming into the park to affect baseball. That's why in Colorado
why is that?
So
was that smart or dumb?
I think it was smart.
Okay.
But it was dumb on the fact that 90% of the league bats right-handed.
Yeah.
Okay? So with 90% of the league batting
right-handed, the world is right-handed.
Right. But
go ahead.
You've got a ballpark that has home runs hit in it, and it does have quite a few home runs hit in it.
Oh, yeah.
You want to engage the fans.
Yeah.
Where do you put seating? You put them in left field, where the right-handed hitter hits a home run.
Yeah.
What does Safeco or T-Mobile not have in left field? They have a bullpen and a standing room restaurant.
Wow. Yeah.
But over in right field, you got seating right down to the wall.
Yeah,
so you get all these home runs that hit into the bullpen. Fans don't get those balls.
Unless you hit the ball late. You know, they say it goes to right field if you hit the ball late.
Right. But there's not many right-handed hitters that hit the ball to right field.
Yeah.
There really aren't. And and that's throughout the league in any ballpark.
Okay.
There are those select few like Ohtani and Judge and Trout.
Yeah.
They can hit the ball to all fields. Even Julio can hit the ball to all fields.
Okay.
But statistically, they all hit left center to left field because that's where your power is at.
Right. Right.
It takes a lot of adjustment to make a power hitter hit to the opposite field.
Right. Right.
So, as a fan base,
Okay.
if you truly want to get fans involved,
Right.
stop putting seats in right field and cutting out seats in left field. Stop. Houston did it right. When they built their new field,
Right.
they've got seating all throughout left field. And then all of a sudden you got that jut back where they got the garage doors.
Right. Right.
Smart idea. I love that layout. Seattle should have done the same thing.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
We should also, to make it more hitter friendly, make that adjustment that every single player that's batted here says needs to be made.
Right.
Fix the batter's eye.
Yeah.
That big black wall at an angle does affect the way a batter sees the ball.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's turn it 5 degrees, but do whatever it is you need to do to fix it to make it more of a hitter's park. Because right now, Seattle's problem is not pitching, it's hitting. We need to bring in hitters.
Right.
If we can't make the adjustment to make it more hitter friendly,
Right.
I'm not saying we have to make it a home run ballpark,
Right. Right.
but we need to make it a ballpark that is hitter friendly to attract those hitters here. And that's what's going to take.
Interesting. Yeah, because if I'm a hitter, this is the last place I want to go to.
Right. I'm going to go to a place like
Wow.
New York where they got
Okay.
a short field in right
That
field.
makes sense.
Or I'm going to go to Cleveland where they've got a huge center field where I can hit a gap and all of a sudden instead of being a single, it's a triple. That's where I'm going to go.
So that's one of the issues with the managers now. You have to either bring up the bats or trade for the bats.
And we're not spending the money on the bats.
Okay.
Which is why if you look at our history, we've been trading with Toronto a lot over the last few years, bringing in random bats.
Yeah.
What's it done for us? The biggest thing that it's done for us, in my opinion, is we got Randy Arozarena.
Okay.
Phenomenal outfielder. Phenomenal hitter. But even he struggled here because he says it too. The batter's eye is off. He says he can't put a finger on what it is about the batter's eye that's off, but something about it is off and it throws off that vision that the batter sees.
Okay.
And I truly think that it sits at an away angle.
Okay.
If you go and stand at home plate or even sit behind the home plate and just look out, in right center field where the batter's eye starts, it's closer to the wall, and as it goes towards dead center, it gets farther away.
Okay.
It's an optical illusion as the ball's throwing that it's going to make it look a little different.
Okay.
How much of a difference, I don't know, because I don't stand at home plate and actually hit the ball. I'm not a professional baseball player. But I can tell you from experience, when I was playing, if there was a batter's eye versus no batter's eye, there is a huge difference in how you see that ball come out of the hand.
Interesting. So do we have what it takes to be competitive this year?
Yes.
We have the pieces in the house this year. Because I want to be come playoff time. I want to be on the bandwagon.
Right now, we have the pieces.
Okay.
Provided our new hitting coach can do his job and follow what Edgar started the last 6 weeks.
Okay.
With Edgar,
is he a good hitting coach?
He did well with the Braves.
Okay.
He brought the Braves from being a non-contender to being one of the best batting averages as a team over the last 5 years.
Okay.
So I say he can do it.
Okay.
If he can do that and get the pieces we currently have, let's say nobody changes at all, and we keep the exact team that we have right now.
Okay.
If he can bring up every player's batting average, 15 points.
Right.
Just 15 points.
Okay.
That's 15 more hits out of 100 at bats. We hit the playoff. we not only hit the playoffs, we have a really good shot at the division at that point.
Wow. Can you imagine the Mariners in a World Series? This city will be
I have a vivid
electric.
imagination of that.
Electric.
I've got a vivid imagination. I can totally see it. And I guarantee you that if the Mariners make it to the ALCS
Okay.
and they win the ALCS,
Okay.
whether or not they lose the World Series, I
Okay.
will guarantee you the city of Seattle will put on a parade for that team.
Okay. Okay.
Because we have a history of when we make the playoffs, getting knocked out in that first round because we were the wild card team and we go against Houston or New York.
Right.
Or we lose to the ALCS and we should have totally dominated. But just to get to the ALCS, I think we have a shot this year. Adding a player like Nico Horner or Cody Bellinger or making another trade with Toronto and getting Vladimir Guerrero. I can see that as an improvement on what we have because we do need a first baseman that is solid. We need a third baseman that is solid, and we need a second baseman that is solid. Now, we've got Ryan Bliss down in the minors. He can play second and short. But the problem with him is he's short. He's a small runt version of Altuve. Okay, Altuve is short, but he's got beef. He hits a lot of home runs. Ryan Bliss doesn't hit a whole lot of home runs. But the thing about Ryan Bliss is he's extremely quick. He likes to bunt. He likes to steal.
Okay.
So bringing him up to play second would be a good idea as long as he can maintain a 270 to 280 average.
Okay.
If he can do that, he's going to now be a base running threat, which when you're a base running threat, that causes your second, third, fourth batters to now get pitches because the pitcher's more worried about that guy taking off and stealing second, stealing third.
Okay.
Look at Ellie De La Cruz, one of the fastest guys in all of baseball. When he's on base, he gets more attention from a pitcher than any other player in the league right now.
Wow.
Him and Acuna, over the last 2 years, have over 300 stolen bases.
Wow.
Those two guys get on base, and when they do, the pitchers are rattled because now they got to pitch and make sure that their pitch is in a good spot for if he goes, that catcher can grab it and attempt to throw them out. We get Ryan Bliss in there. We got J.P. Crawford. He can steal. So now imagine we bring up Ryan Bliss.
Okay.
Let him play second base.
Right.
You lead off with J.P. J.P. gets on base. He walks or he gets a solid single or double. Okay, that's what J.P.'s meant for. Now you got Ryan Bliss, followed by Julio, followed by Cal Raleigh. Ryan Bliss is going to get pitches because J.P. is a threat. Ryan Bliss probably lays down a bunt down the third baseline. Ryan Bliss will beat it out.
Okay.
Okay, so now you got runners on first and second.
Okay.
Both of whom can steal.
Right.
Both of them are known to steal.
Right.
And you got Julio at the plate.
Right.
What's going through your head as a pitcher? As a pitcher, you've got two guys that are quick, are known to steal bases, and a guy at the plate that can hit the ball anywhere. Followed by another guy that can hit the ball anywhere.
Scrambled brain.
Right, you're scrambled. So now you're concentrating.
Yeah.
You're trying to concentrate not only on what pitch you're throwing, how accurate you're going to throw it, whether it's going to be fast enough or in a position good enough to stop the runner. Also maintain keeping that runner on. What am I going to do if this guy gets on because I'm followed by another bat? It's the same issue that every team faced once Juan Soto went to New York. You've got two guys ahead of Soto that could get on base and steal. You had Soto followed by Judge.
Speed kills even in baseball.
Speed totally kills in baseball. So I think the thing we need is to either bring up Ryan Bliss or bring up Cole Young and let them play second.
Right.
Bring in a first or a third baseman. And at that point, we will have a solid infield. We have a solid outfield.
Okay.
Our outfield is great. We have our catcher of the decade. We need to sign him and keep him long term. which I'm pretty sure is going to happen by the end of trade talks.
Now, that's the same guy that got hot when we was on that run, right?
Yeah, that's Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
Cal Raleigh statistically is the best catcher in history through their first 3 years.
I still remember that home run game. I was like, ooh.
Hey, he's the guy that clinched it for us in 23.
I remember.
I was at that game.
I remember. He brought me back on the bandwagon.
Right. So he not only was he the best catcher over the last 3 years as a catcher, he's the best catcher over the last 3 years as a hitter.
Okay.
From that position. He's got more home runs over his first 3 years than any other catcher in history. He's got more runs saved by throwing out runners than any catcher in history over their first 3 years.
Okay.
He got the Gold Glove last year.
Right.
He got the Platinum Glove last year as a catcher.
Okay.
This guy needs to be signed long term.
Okay.
He loves it here in Seattle. He can hit here in Seattle. We need to sign him long term, not wait for arbitration to come, not wait for free agency to come. Get him now.
Get him now.
We weren't going to wait with Julio. Why are we waiting with Cal? Cal has been more productive as a hitter than Julio.
Oh. You heard it here, folks.
Cal is Mr. Clutch.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Why are we not signing him yet? We should have signed him days after the season was over. We should have just been, let's talk and get it done.
Yeah, here you go. Let's get it. So, you promised me playoffs this past year, and I was deeply wounded.
I didn't promise.
Are you promising me playoffs this year?
And we were really, really close.
Close with no cigar.
Close but no cigar. And I've said it before.
Okay.
I think the issue was management was the issue.
All right.
Too many hitting coaches talking to each player.
Okay.
When Dan Wilson came in and brought Edgar on as a hitting coach, Julio no longer had his private hitting coach, the team hitting coach, and Edgar. Julio had Edgar. Julio respected Edgar and dropped his personal hitting coach. And his batting average skyrocketed. He stopped striking out all the time. He stopped swinging at every little pitch because Edgar's philosophy is keep it simple.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you heard it from Mr. Scott. Hey, he knows what he's talking about because he goes to every game. So he is there, feeling the energy, feeling the vibe. We are wrapping up here. And we don't touch on a lot of basketball. But we got about 5 more minutes, and we're going to shut it down.
We can touch on basketball. You see the latest news, right?
No, tell me about it.
Bronny's in the G League. That's the biggest news out of the NBA. Bronny is in the G League. And my son brought this up on the way here.
Oh, my goodness.
He's like, Dad,
you hear this guy?
Bronny's in the G League, and he's averaging 3 points. I said, son, Bronny's averaging 3 points in the NBA.
Oh, my gosh. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because we're going to touch more on when Prim gets back on basketball in the next couple of weeks as well. Who is the most underrated NBA player in your Rolodex of players?
Muggsy Bogues. And it's actually a tie. I'm going to go Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb.
Oh, my. Why?
Because those two were so underrated because they were so short. Playing in a huge man's league. The average height when they were playing was like 6'4", 6'5".
Okay.
They were 5'3" and 5'5".
Yeah.
They were a foot shorter than the competition, yet they were still standout players.
Yeah.
But nobody really talked about them.
You don't give them the credit.
Nobody did.
Because they were small.
Yeah.
Probably hard to market someone that's small.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they are definitely the most underrated players in NBA history, in my opinion.
Wow. I never even crossed my mind. That's a good point. So I got 2.
Okay.
One just came to my mind. Manu Ginobili. Very underrated because I just think he was, at one point, he was considered maybe one of the top players in the league. Didn't get credit for it. And another one was the one who got injured coming out of UCLA. kind of like had the Derrick Rose situation. What was it? What's his name? It was just in my head.
Must not have been that important.
Came out of UCLA, played for Charlotte. Byron Davis.
Okay.
Byron Davis had the bounce out of this world. Can go to the hole on anybody. Kind of like had a Derrick Rose fearlessness going to the rack. So those were two of my most underrated players.
I could go with those.
Okay.
I could go with those, but I'm still putting Spud Webb and Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah. Hey,
everybody underestimates the short man. They do the same thing in football. They underestimate the short guy.
Muggsy was a problem because he put the foot on the gas on the fast breaks.
Yeah,
and he and a matter of fact, I think he not led the league, but I think he was close up there, leading the league in steals.
I think he was close. But the problem with both of them was, so the reason they were underrated, in my opinion, is because they were short.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if you look at both of their playing stats,
Muggsy was
they had numbers.
Yeah,
they both had numbers. They both had steals. They both had breakaways.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, they both had blocks.
Yeah.
Which means they had to work on that jump.
Well, they're not that much shorter than Nate Robinson. He blocking Shaq and Yao Ming.
Well,
when he was playing.
Yeah, but the difference is, at that point, Nate Robinson wasn't as short to the league as Spud Webb and Muggsy Bogues were.
Yeah, because he's like 5'9"-ish.
Yeah, he was like 5'8", 5'9", something like that. But at the time, the average height in the league was still only 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah. If you were a guard, you were 6'5".
Yeah. So, he's only 8 or 9 inches.
Yeah.
Spud Webb, Muggsy Bogues, they were a foot shorter.
Yeah. Because now a small guard is considered Steph Curry, who's about 6'3".
Yeah.
He's a small guard.
And he's the king.
And he's an inch taller than me, and people call me tall. Okay. So we are done.
No, we got one more thing to talk about.
What do we got more to talk about?
Prim and I already talked about this.
Uh-oh.
Jordan.
Oh, gosh.
Or LeBron.
Oh, gosh. LeBron's birthday's coming up.
Who cares? Who is the GOAT? Jordan or LeBron?
Michael Jordan.
And why?
Michael Jordan.
Why? I'm not disagreeing with you, but why do you feel that way?
There's no limit to his game.
Okay.
Now, I have one of my sons who talks real ignorant, and he's always stating that Michael Jordan could not shoot
I know which
threes.
one you're talking about.
Oh, you know which one I'm talking about.
I know him well.
That he could not shoot threes, which is crazy. But it's Michael Jordan. I just look at LeBron James gets a lot of credit because he's 6'9", 260, and he's a very versatile basketball player. It kind of reminds me of, and this is going to sound weird. Remember Sean Kemp?
Do I remember Sean Kemp?
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
There was Sean Kemp and there was Derek Coleman. I hope this is a fair comparison. Sean Kemp was criticized when it came to comparison of those two because he wasn't as versatile as Derek Coleman. Derek Coleman could do everything.
Yeah.
Shoot the three, go to the hole, mid-range, outside, pass. He had a bunch of, but Sean Kemp was dominant in what he did.
I agree. Sean Kemp was dominant in what he did.
This might be a bad analogy because
I can go with this analogy.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, Coleman could do everything.
Yeah.
He's what some people would call a jack of all trades.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife on a basketball court.
Right. Kemp was not a jack of all trades.
No.
Kemp was a master driver.
Yeah.
A master inside the paint shooter.
Yes.
And a defensive god.
Yeah, he's very underrated on his defense.
Could he shoot threes? Yes. Did he? No. Jordan could shoot threes. Did he shoot them as much as he needed to? No. And the reason I say that Jordan is the GOAT is kind of based off of that.
Yeah.
So Jordan is the GOAT because of two things in my mind. One, he was Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and first team All-Pro all in the same year. And he did that twice. Yeah. He's never lost in an NBA final. He never lost more than 3 games in a row. Okay. He had to play against not individual stars of teams, but against star teams.
Dynasties.
Okay.
LeBron
doesn't. There isn't a dynasty team out there that LeBron has had to play against. LeBron is about to pass him in total points or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. LeBron's played 8 more years to do that.
Yeah.
So he can't be the GOAT based off of that stat. LeBron shoots more threes than Jordan ever did. Jordan had more 30-point games in his career.
Wow. Facts.
I think it's by 22 games right now.
Right.
And didn't use the three-pointer to get there. So, based on those simple facts, Jordan is and will always be the GOAT.
Wow. He broke down facts. So man, that was spoken like a genius. I'm going to just take the eye test because me and you have both watched them play. I haven't been in the arena, but just watching them play, he just looks like the more superior player. Period. By just watching him.
So, I'm going to agree with this. Now, I was watching a bunch of different clips, and I think I sent you the one clip this morning or last night.
Right.
Guy was explaining why he felt that Jordan was the greatest.
Right.
And he felt that Jordan was the greatest because every time Jordan stepped on the court, it was perfection. Whether he was sitting on the sideline, sitting on the bench, coming into the court, or coming up to the game, it was always perfection. He would show up to every game dressed to the nines.
Ready to go.
Before it was required.
Ready to go. Yeah.
Guys now come dressed because it's a requirement by the league. He was dressed to the nines, full suit, tie, everything, every game. He would come and he would sit on the sidelines, and it was constant game face. There was no smiles. There was no tapping your teammate, talking about what's going on. There was no playing on your phone like LeBron James. It was 100% go time all the time the minute he stepped on that court.
Right.
LeBron don't do that.
Different type of dog, huh?
Jordan would come in and he would practice. And every shot was practiced for perfection. Not just, I'm going to shoot a little layup here and a layup there, shoot a couple 2-pointers, and then just dribble the ball around. No, he was out there practicing as though it were game time. And for that, he became the greatest. The guy also stated that a lot of these players like KD, Curry, LeBron even, Kobe, they come into the league and everybody starts looking at them as the greatest because when Jordan was playing, we didn't have news outfits. We didn't have social media out there showing every single thing he did every day, all day long.
Yeah.
You've got Kobe. His stats were always being posted.
Yeah.
His plays were always, if he made a mistake, it was always blasted across to ESPN.
Yeah.
It's same thing with LeBron. Everybody's talking LeBron. So everybody currently sees LeBron as the GOAT because that's all they hear. You don't hear about what Jordan did last night because Jordan's retired. He retired before social media was big. If we had to sit there every day and see all the mistakes that Jordan played, I don't think there are many.
Yeah. Right.
Because I used to watch ESPN fanatically when Jordan was on because I wanted to see his highlights. And I don't recall any bloopers that they ever put of him up there. But Jordan did it in an era where there wasn't all the hype that there is now.
Yeah.
So to still be a relevant name when there's all this hype around the current stars has to mean something. You don't hear about Clyde Drexler very often.
No, you don't.
You don't hear about Dikembe Mutombo very much anymore. Or Manute Bol for that matter. Or Larry Bird for that matter. And these are all guys that were great in the 90s.
It's the leadership of commanding men around you. And that might be the it factor we're talking about. We're talking about, okay, talent is one thing, right?
Yep.
Talent washes each other out. Both phenomenal athletes, phenomenal talent. But it's that it inside you. It's like, do you remember when Cam Newton in the Super Bowl lost to Denver? And And he wasn't willing to or stick his face in to get the ball. And then
he blamed that loss on the team, not himself. He didn't take any part of the blame.
Yeah, but his whole mannerism was almost like he was pouting.
Well, yeah.
And that's what LeBron does sometimes.
Sometimes
instead of demanding,
his hair gets touched and it's a foul. He flops.
So all the shenanigans and and it's hard for other men to respect that when you look like you're whining and complaining as a leader of a basketball team. Jordan never did that. That's what made him different.
Another clip I saw made was that when Jordan played, you never heard him complain about getting beat up by the Pacers, or when Manute Bol knocks him on his butt. You didn't hear him complain about it.
He probably did.
You saw him get up.
Yeah, get up. Let's go.
And get right back into it. Jordan also not only stood out as a player, but Jordan made everybody else on his team look better. He improved their skills because they saw his perfection and how he developed himself and started doing that as well. KD flat out said he couldn't do that crossover that he does without Jordan being out there to show the perfection and how to change the league to where that crossover and step back would be effective.
Right. Wow.
Do you hear anybody saying, "Oh, LeBron did this, so that now I can do this"? No. You heard LeBron got fouled because I touched his wrist.
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you what Kobe. We're gonna end there with what Kobe Bryant said. Really, the most. I'm gonna call him underrated for the sake of this. Kobe Bryant said, "The league is lucky that Allen Iverson wasn't 3 inches taller." He said if Allen Iverson was 6'4", 6'5", he would have been the best player of all time.
I don't know about him being the best player, but he would definitely be way up on that list.
If he had the same skill set, being that much taller.
I can agree with that because if you've got a guy that's 6'1",
Is he about 6'2"?
Yeah, he's like 6'2".
Yeah, he's about
like
6'2". He's 6'2".
So if you got a guy that's doing the things he is at that height, you give him 3 more inches in height, and don't take away any of the ability, he's going to become more dominant than he already is.
Because he could have guarded the taller players. He was a phenomenal defensive player.
Not only that, but not only guarding the taller players, but the taller players, it's going to be harder for them to guard him.
Yeah.
So I put Allen Iverson in the top 20 as a player in general. Anyway, I think he was a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
You give him that extra 3 inches, I'd probably put him top 10.
Just to the fact that I cannot name one person. Actually, I can. I can name one person that played with him when he went to the finals. That was Eric Snow.
Well,
I mean, his team on paper was worse than LeBron's team. They went to the finals.
Yeah.
But that team was sorry offensively.
But Iverson was the guy,
man,
that was clutch when the team was down 5-6 points. Iverson somehow came and brought them back.
If Allen Iverson would have been injured for the season, that team would not have won 10 games.
If Allen Iverson had been injured, I don't think they would have won one game. But that's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother topic. We're going to get into more NBA news next week. But we'll be back here next week, same time, same location. Lavelle Big Man Bogan, Mr. Scott. Prim will be back next week talking nonsense again. But, hey, we love him anyway. No, he got a lot of good takes. We're just having fun with him. So I'll see you next week, same time, same location, at the Waterland Arcade. Teresa is closing us out.